is something that no one else is offering. And really what we found was through our regular discourse with our partners, most of you will spend between $5,000 and $15,000 getting those types of things set up. Well, just being part of our program, we've set that up for you now. And of course, the mobile applications, which we'll be releasing in steps. So in the next couple weeks thereafter, we'll have generic branded Android and iPhone applications available, and then BlackBerry thereafter. And also, our Mac client will be generic and available to you and your customers. So really like to think of this program as really just hitting on everything that you would need to get to market and get to market quickly. This grid gives us a list of the different features, and we've divided it into what we had before ServerSave, which is listed as V4 in the top half, and what ServerSave gives us listed as V5. So it's more about, not a common term, but the V5 program, so to speak. And you see that in the software client as V4. So in the top we have Carbonite and Mozy here because those are the ones that we're typically competing against in our V4 technology, and historically for SOS. They've been the two main competitors in this space. Still, we've been boasted as best in backup with them because we've always maintained that this is a high security product for SMB customers. And on a feature-to-feature basis, security basis, we're the best. When we get into V5, and we're talking about ServerSave and social backup and mobile backup, it really becomes an area where these two companies are not just playing. They're just not in these areas. We're not. I wouldn't say that we're competitors at this point any longer, because now they're just offering a single point of what we're doing, where we have all these other aspects of backup and all these other strategies in backup that now comes into play with our program. And now we have a whole new list of quasi-competitors, and Zenith, Intronis, and i365 here. Again, we designed this with the idea that we're going to be entering the market with these players, and we wanted to enter that market at a price point that really just slips right under what they're doing, and also provides more than what they're doing. So typically, they're still only doing what they have historically defined and misappropriately defined as VDR, which is an image-based backup. May or may not have an offsite option. We're going to do everything that they can, and then way more, hitting the other points of your network, so the extremities of laptops, workstations. And that's really important because as IDC and TechCrunch have been articles in the last couple quarters about risk management and the decline of risk management and how that's been really clear and evident in the business and businesses going under today. Where a lot of the businesses going under today, it wasn't even because of economic reasons. The economy's bad, no one's buying anything. What they ended up finding was that there just weren't very good risk management plans in place, and when certain things happened, data was lost, hardware failed, these companies, they just couldn't bounce back from those things. And one of the big holes in every SMB they monitor was that 60% of the business's data resided on an individual's laptop or workstation, not being centralized at any point. So you have a big part of your business that just floats around in these things like laptops, workstations, and now we have the stealth cloud in services like Box.net and Dropbox, where you have these file and folder sharing storage programs that aren't being managed by anyone in the business. They just kind of happen organically, and it's a nightmare as a CIO to try to manage something like that, because you can. Here's a little excerpt from our award-winning platform. Let me ask some questions in the audience now. For those of you, does this sound pretty consistent to what you see as far as the setup in your typical SMB environment and the mood of a lot of your SMBs and what they're looking at and what you've been looking at moving towards? As far as moving from a single strategy, it's an image-based backup system on-site, lots of hardware involved, and now we're moving to more cloud-based services. As those come in, discuss the competitive landscape a little more. Terrific to hear. Frank says this is a very good match for where he comes into the business. Perfect. So this gives us a little picture to kind of look to visualize what we're talking about in the landscape that we're entering and that we're changing. So here we have all these different companies in file and folder backup, and this is where we lived for a long time. This is what we were specializing in, and what we've been best in the backup in the business as. Now, this is where we're playing today. If we go back, before we take all the blue out of there, you see how empty a lot of these fields are. There really aren't a whole lot of players in this area because the viability of storage costs, the architecture, and really the purchasing, this is really something that has become newly viable, and it was a natural move for us to move up into this space. We're not a hardware-based company. We never will be. So we don't require that you buy a $2,000 box from us just to talk about what other services you actually want to have on it. You just put together, $300 or $400 black box, and you're good to go, and that's your staging machine, and you can just start backing up data off-site. And we're providing this at a price point that no longer becomes, oh, well, that's really for my bigger customers. This is something that's going to be for all your SMBs. Even your micro businesses are going to be using this if they need to have image-based backups. Frank, that you really said that best. So Frank, everyone says, typically my clients are afraid of their data. This is a way to bridge into a solution that makes them less fearful so they can start utilizing their data without that fear. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. So that's the whole thing is when you start standardizing services, people become naturally more comfortable with them. It's a standard. Think about any restaurant you go out to or any type of services that you have. Your standard oil change and standard service, whatever that means, your standard car wash, your standard Big Mac and fries with a Coke. Standards are a way of validating what should be in place. The big thing with break fix is there was always this kind of battle between your customers and the specialist providing the service of what should be in place and what should not be in place. It's a bit like having a chef come out and give you a list of all the ingredients to the soup he's about to serve you and say, which ingredients do and do you not want me to use? If you did that, if chefs did that, they'd never make a good soup. They give you a soup, this is the type of soup it is, and would you like, a side salad with that, things of that nature. So moving into the standard services validates what you're trying to do and what you want to do, and it takes away that I told you so instance. Most of you know that I told you so never works. It doesn't keep you your customer, no matter what you say. They say, you know what, we don't want that backup strategy you were talking about. And you say, well, it's going to hurt you if you don't have it. And they're like, I know, we just don't want it right now. I don't think it's important. We'll take the chance. If it happens, saying I told you so doesn't save you time from having to restore from a crummy solution, if one at all. And it certainly doesn't help your customer not lose a lot of money when that does happen. So that it's really to avoid that I told you so moment by standardizing package of, this is our backup solution package gold for accounting services, which includes a test, or like a fire drill every month where we're going to recover from all the systems we have in place and keep track of our RTO and RPO. RTO, restore time objective, how quickly can we get back up and running if something bad happens. RPO, how old is the data that we're restoring if something bad happens. So ideally, you like to get your RTO and RPO, within an hour. Our goal is to have it within 30 minutes, and that really will come to fruition with our Cloud Boot service. And we even have that available as a one-off service, $500. We'll mount your image in the cloud for for up to a week while you rebuild your systems. Now, so this is a really terrific solution that you can provide to your customers and really say, this is what you're going to get, and this is why you need it. Have a nice day. And then you have nice reporting in place, and you can move on. Better services, less money, less downtime. Perfect. And higher margin for you. Less sneaker time, higher margin. Any questions on that? I'm going to open up some of the, and go through a bit of a walkthrough of what our system looks like. So we have the partner dashboard, and this is the one part where you would actually log into our main site, dashboard.sosonlinebackup.com. We have 3 portions: managing your cloud space, you can add users, the centralized management part where you have the Pulse admin system. We'll go through this. And then the server backup and recovery. So you're going to have server licenses with us. That includes creating images and Exchange granular recovery, and you just assign or unassign this license to a backup account that exists. And then if you want to order more, you can order more from us, download the software, good to go. Now, this whole section up here actually links to what we talked about as the Premier Web package. The Premier Web integration package really is quite something. And let me just minimize what we have here on the right. Let me go to the dashboard. So you have your basic dashboard, and notice that we're now on our faux partners domain, manageonlinebackup.com. And we have some basic reporting here, so recent signups, recent upgrades, because now you have a customer-facing sign-up page. So those of you who don't primarily have web-based business, well, now you have the opportunity to have it, and it's not going to cost you anything. Sign up for a PayPal account and just plug that information in, and then you can have customers come up to your website, and they can sign up for accounts, and you can deem the pricing on here however you see fit. This pricing on this website, you can come take a look at this website, manageonlinebackup.com. This is not recommended pricing by any means. It's a demo account. We just have some stuff there. But you have this. They can come in here. You control all this information. So actually, if you want to see the program deck that we just went through, that link right here will let you download that PDF. There's also a study from HP and SCORE, Impact of Disaster, gives some good stats and data loss and what you need to worry about. Sample risk registry. We go through a lot of this in the Success with SOS webinar about sales and marketing techniques and how to put together a good managed service package, and including a risk registry plan that really validates what you're trying to do and really gets the pen to the pad to make sure you're doing what you should be doing. So what we have in here is this mailer system. The mailer system allows you to very simply create new subscriber groups. In the subscriber groups, you can name them for whatever you like. You can import subscribers with a simple CSV file, first column name, second column email. You can upgrade that to, or upload that to a subscriber group. Then you can create email templates if you get a new template. Pretty familiar to most of you, name, test. And we can come in and it just looks like any type of WordPress or let me see if we can view a template. Here we go. So these controls are pretty familiar to you, those working Microsoft Office, especially WordPress or Joomla, which is what we base the CMS on, as experience with those two programs. You can go through, create different templates, and then you can create and define different campaigns. And when you have a different campaign, you can send it out to your different subscriber groups, and then you have statistics on that. So, okay, great, we send out emails to everyone. Now what? Well, this gives you a really simple way to see, okay, we had so many bounces, so many opened, our click-through, email sent, unsubscribed. You can even create a coupon code. So if we go to view coupons here, we could say, okay, let's take a look at this one. And we said description, free first year. So discount $100. So essentially, if we were selling a plan at $100, that would be a free first year. Or if you wanted to do free first month, you do percentage, 100, and this code will go out, and then everyone who uses it will get their first month for free. So it's a good way of promoting services. You can limit by number of uses. So for example, this one would be the campaign that says first 100 signups with this code get a free month of service. Something of that nature. So we've built in a really easy way to communicate to your customers